Hello, everyone. Welcome to Laser Focus. This is the deep dive pop culture podcast from Nerdist. I'm Kyle Anderson. Thank you for listening. Folks, I am thrilled to be joined once again on the show by someone who's joined the Three Timers Club, a very rare club. I think, other than people who work with and for me, you are the only person who's joined the Three Timers Club.
Wow!
I
I'm gonna make
know.
myself a little Post-it note,
You should.
achievement award.
Yeah, I don't have a jacket like SNL does, but it's, you know,
Okay, well, work on that.
we'll work on that. Yeah, you'll be the inaugural member. Yes, of course, she's been on the show before. You also might know her, probably know her from her very good video essay series, as well as the upcoming show on Nebula called Amy's
Mhm.
Dead End Dreamhouse, which premieres July 13th,
Mhm.
only on Nebula. And welcome again. Her name is Maggie Mae Fish. Hi, Maggie.
Violet, it's so good to be back. So good to see you.
Yeah, good
Hello.
to see you too. And I was going to say we're not going to talk about creepy horror stuff, but we kind of are. Uh,
Kind of,
that's
yeah,
sort of the
yeah.
jam.
Existential dread,
Existentials, yeah.
which, I think is it's very popular to adapt to horror films, but it's hard not to do literally, you know?
Uh,
You wanna tell the audience what it's about, but you want enough mystique that you don't want them to guess it right away. I feel like that's the kind of horror milieu we're in right now.
yeah, very much so. And it's also just like, I don't know. I saw something recently that was like, without getting too on the nose about what's happening in the world. I'm sure people at home can listen, can figure it out,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
that we've kind of just been stuck for the last almost 10 years in this weird, like, existential downward spiral, and it never gets any better. And it's just like that,
Yeah.
maybe people are
Yeah.
not sure what to do about it anymore.
Very much so. Yeah, what to do with these feelings that are
Yeah.
continually unresolved. Movies are supposed to resolve them or
Yeah. I do love it though. I mean, like, yes. Okay. We'll get into all this stuff. Um,
You're spiraling. I'm not spiraling.
yeah, everyone's no, it's fine.
Oh.
It's also July and our brains have turned to mush as often happens here. But
Mhm.
Maggie, you've been
Mhm.
working on a show very hard, and it is coming out on
Mhm.
the 13th on Nebula. It's
Yes.
called Amy's Dead End
Yeah.
Dreamhouse. Please tell us about it,
Mhm.
about the inception of it, and
Mhm.
just give us the elevator pitch for it, please.
Oh, lovely. I would love to.
Yeah, I'm sure you've not
So
done that at all in the last
oh,
couple weeks.
not yeah, yeah. I'm like, "Oh, no, it's too rehearsed now."
Yeah.
Slap, slap, make it real. No. I do always mention that. I think it's been, like, a couple years at this point, where my partner, has said that I've just been saying the words, "kid show for adults," just, unmitigated, no follow-up, just simply that phrase over and over again. It's always been just a vague idea that I've had. I took a very surprisingly interestingly class in college
Okay.
about children's media.
Mm.
And it was to fill my film requirement. I was slightly interested in the topic, but it truly blew me away. Just like the heart and dedication that creators put into the work, specifically for children, and how often it is looked down upon by their peers, by everyone. Um, so I really just fell in love with those champions and how much work goes into creating art for people we often don't think about in our day to day. So yeah, that was a big inspiration. And as an adult, I have dealt with many emotional difficulties, other difficulties, as many people have. And so yeah, the idea just sprang out about creating a space that was a way for people to talk about these big feelings, big topics, big life changes, in a kind, handholdy, silly, stupid, and mean, but mean in a fun way.
Right.
Um, yeah, as a way to I don't know, kind of bring people together and not feel like these things are not worth talking about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that goes back to Mr. Rogers, who said, "If it's mentionable, it's manageable." That was the first time I ever heard that phrase.
Mhm, mhm.
So,
Exactly, and it's really like, once we turn 16, it's very much like, actually never talk about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually,
100%.
just don't, yeah, or, text your one friend about it, but also, like, but, like, it's fine also. So, yeah, you know, there is so much to cover in mind. Picking the episode topics was honestly very hard to narrow down, but also fun. So yeah, that's the escalator pitch. If we
Sure.
were
We have to
passing
be on an
by
escalator.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, the trailer is available now for people who want to see it. It's on your own YouTube channel. I believe it's also on the Nebula channel. But it
Mhm.
is visually, what were some of the kind of hallmark the shows like that you were pulling from that you wanted to kind of like emulate with?
Absolutely. Yeah, one of the big inspirations, especially for the look, is the big comfy couch.
I wondered and I hoped that was true. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. As a kid, it really resonated with me. Just the imagination space, the Dust Bunny puppets. I always thought that was great, and a wonderful, weird way to make really like weirdly ugly puppets. Uh, yeah, there was so much to spur the imagination in that show. So yeah, that was a big inspiration. And then yeah, a couple mystery science theater.
Sure.
Bill Corbett actually voices the microwave, Mike the
Oh, we'll get
microwave.
into your amazing guest cast, by the way. But yes.
Phenomenal, can't say enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, the director that was there we have a slight age gap. So yeah, Mystery Science Theater was huge for them growing up. Also Mr. Show, sketch show, What is Kids You Know? Yeah, early Smosh. Yeah, kind of like a fly by the seat of your pants, but with a slight budget, which is nice. Nice to grease the wheels. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you have a set and you have puppets. I mean, that in of
Yes.
itself is like a pretty big, I won't say
Yes,
step up,
yes.
but like, like YouTube videos, generally you make them yourself and everything like that. This obviously has budget behind it, like you said.
Mhm. Precisely, yeah, and there was, like, all of the things that we planned beforehand, even, like, the pitch itself, we knew we could lean into, a homemade look, and therein also hire people who their specialty is to craft beautiful handmade set pieces. Yeah, our MVP of, shooting was definitely our production designer, Daniel Fox. He's fantastic. Um, can't say enough. The whole crew is amazing, but yeah, getting to hire artists to do what they do, and what they're good at, what they love, was very special.
That's great. You
Mhm,
mentioned Bill Corbett. Who are some of the other people? Also, I mean,
mhm,
I'm going to shout him out because he's literally my idol.
mhm,
Paul F. Tompkins is on your show. I love a
mhm,
Paul F. Tompkins.
yes,
Also, I mean, Bill
yes.
Corbett is no slouch. Like he's my crow. I've told him this in the past. I'm like, and
Oh,
he doesn't
uh-huh,
like to get involved in that type of thing, but I
uh-huh,
was like,
uh-huh.
you're my crow, man. So yeah, Bill Corbett, Paul F. Tompkins. Who are some of the other people that you got to be on your kids show for adults?
Yes, we got, Morgana Ignis, who is amazing, phenomenal actor and voiceover artist. We also have Reba Burr, who was phenomenal. She really brings TV to life. Was a character
Yeah.
very close and dear to my heart. Uh, yeah, that rounds out the main cast. We also have some wonderful special guests. We have Katya, extraordinary Joan Didion of our time. Jamie Loftus, again, wonderful mind of our generation. Yeah, many more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People of Nerdist and Geek and Sundry will know Ify Nwadiwe, of course,
Yes,
who is
Jiffy.
tremendous.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah, it's a really great amount of people. So yeah, it's what a cool thing. And as you mentioned, like Bill Corbett plays Mike the Microwave,
mhm.
Reba plays TV to TV, which is such a great and Morgana plays Quack the pet snake. And there's
Mhm.
also Cindy the Cinderblock, who I assume doesn't speak.
Correct, correct. She speaks to me, but
Right.
no one else can hear the terrible things that she whispers
Obviously.
in my ears,
Of course.
obviously, obviously.
Um, what I like about I haven't seen any of it yet. But what I like about the concept and the visual representation is that it does 100% look like those old shows that we grew up with. But obviously there is, and maybe a lot of this is from Amy herself, but like is it's just a little cracked, I would say, a little skewed to the side. Like
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
guess like how did you come up with why did you want to tackle these topics in this exact way?
Mhm.
And how did you kind of decide how your character was going to interact with these topics?
That I think that is a great question.
Thank you so much.
You're so good at asking
Oh,
questions.
hey.
Hey.
I didn't go fishing, but I like what I caught.
Oh my god! You say that much just for me? Okay. Wait, yeah, I think, I love the idea of this style, being somewhat dissonant from the themes. That's something I always loved, especially in comedy. There's so much you can do with it. There's so much weight that can carry. So I think overall, like, part of the initial reason I liked the idea is because, yes, this like cookie, like cotton candy, sweet, vibrant colors, while tackling, darker, fucked up, uh, not great aspect of being human.
Yeah.
And I do also think, part of the reason we love children's media and look fondly on it when we're adults is because, yeah, it creates a beautiful, like, wonderful, creative space for children to imagine, to play. Uh, that is not the way that the world is.
No.
And so I think very naturally, as we grow into young adults, the cracks begin to show themselves. So I think this was a very fun way to bring that idea of the promises of childhood, and especially the promises that children's media gave us. You know, uh, yeah, not to any fault of them. We should be giving these wonderful spaces for kids' brains to develop and know how the world should be before we learn the way that it is. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think leaning into the beautiful fun set, the colors, the glitter, allowed us a lot of room to show the cracks underneath. And of course, David Lynch, a big fan, and it's very much his milieu,
Yeah.
showing the cracks in the sidewalks, the bugs in the beautiful garden. So yeah, kind of taking that aspect, and yeah, turning it, into a little genre parody. Yeah, there's also a lot of stuff visually, we could do to underscore that as well, so I was very
Mhm.
fun too. Yeah.
It's it I think about this a lot, not least because, uh, whether the course of my job, our jobs is sort of stuck in, at least adolescence, if not fully childhood. But as I
Mhm.
am sitting here in my office, you can't see it from where you're looking through a screen, but I have just nothing but action figures around me at all times.
Ah, yes, yes.
Because
Mhm.
I like to look at them throughout the day and they make me happy.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and it's sort of like, I feel like, as millennials, we get accused a lot of being like, uh, stuck in, delayed adolescence, but it's also like we
Mhm,
were subject to, decades of child media and all this stuff, and we were not prepared in the least for growing up. So it's sort of like, and also the world sucks. So like, what do you do
mhm.
when the world sucks? You kind of revert to what makes you the most safe, I guess, like so.
Absolutely, and also I think we learned the world sucked, very abruptly.
Yeah.
Many things wheeled into our classrooms, with no say, from anyone. Yeah, so I think there is that weird dichotomy while we were still developing as children. Right along with it, we knew that the world sucked and was fucked up.
Yeah.
And those are very conflicting, ideas about the world, very conflicting attitudes, and I do think, humor is many many ways in which many a millennial has processed it or tried to. But yeah, also through the media that we now create, I think you see a lot of that dichotomy, gray area, the push and pull between what we want the world to be versus what it has been, what we've inherited, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
and
yeah, it is
we have no say in it either, which is sort of like, how
absolutely,
did that happen?
absolutely, yes. And there is the idea of like radical, radical positivity, radical you need that. You need that to sustain the fight. uh
Yeah.
and I do think that's something that maybe, and this is I love different generations and the cultural exchange. I married a Gen Xer, so I understand the removed humor. I now get it. Like a scientist, I have studied it.
I have seen it in books.
I've seen it in books. I've read about it. In the same way, even for a younger people may see millennials acting very juvenile, and not necessarily recognize it as an act of sustaining resilience, and being able to fight the long fight because it's been a long fight, and hasn't necessarily gotten better. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all wrapped into our little fucked up psyches.
Yeah. It's and I find it so fascinating, and especially now, like, access to media that we grew up with is so much easier to find. I was
Mhm.
just noticing, like, Tubi just added, like, a million shows from the '90s. I'm like, "I'm gonna start watching this all the time," and then I was like, "Is this good?" And it's like, who cares? Like, I wanna watch cartoons from when I was a kid. I don't to see if they but like you were saying earlier about, just, these are craftspeople who made yes, these cartoons were made to sell toys, but they still had to be good cartoons in order to sell the toys. And so there was a level of like, not
Mhm,
unlike the space race, I guess, where it's like the competition led to innovation.
mhm,
That's what happened a lot with 80s and 90s like kids programming, because it's like they need to be able to sell stuff,
mhm,
and get ratings and all this stuff. And so they were all really great. Like, I remember watching. I was right at the tail end because I'm older than you.
mhm,
I'm an elder millennial,
mhm.
but like I grew up right at the tail end of Pee Wee's Playhouse, and going back and watching that was a few years ago was really kind of a revelation, because it's like, oh, this is kind of weird and subversive in a way I wasn't expecting it to be.
Brutal.
Um,
Mhm.
which I'm sure, again, it's like, somebody living in a house with talking things. Obviously, that has to be something that crossed your mind about this show.
Absolutely. And also part of the inspiration was when I was, yeah, when I was young, I thought Pee-wee's was for adults. I did not know
Oh,
it was for
sure.
kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I think I just, like, as soon yeah, and I was young enough that, it felt too cool to be for me, surely,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so
Well,
yeah.
so I've actually not watched this, but he used to do Paul
Mhm.
Rubens, R.I.P. Used to do that, the Pee Wee Herman show, as a, was it in New York or something like that, or was it on the Sunset Strip maybe? But it was basically like a stage show, a body stage show version of what became Pee Wee's Playhouse. For those of you who don't know, um, but then that proved popular enough, and then Pee Wee's Big Adventure came out and was popular enough that then he actually basically just did it as a kid show, which I
Mhm.
think is a very backwards way. Most people wouldn't expect that to happen,
Mhm.
but it led to a really cool kid show that I think really stands up.
Oh, absolutely, and it was wonderful and fascinating, to, yeah, watch, a bunch of shows for this show, and, yeah, I mean, I've always had an appreciation of the adult humor in kid shows, 'cause kids are very perceptive and kids are
Yeah,
always listening. There's studies that like kids understand the cadence of a joke before they can understand at all what the joke is about. Speech is pattern, is music. It's all extremely connected. So yeah, when done right.
right.
Not maybe not Coco Melon. Maybe that's the one that's like what it's missing. There's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing there. But for the most, yeah, there's so much adult wisdom put into children's TV shows. My dad used to watch SpongeBob with us.
Sure.
Yeah, it was, yeah, if the good ones, the good ones, yeah.
Right. I feel and I don't have children,
Mhm.
to know this to be true, but I've heard from other people that, like, current children's shows are so kind of devoid of things or devoid of thought. It seems like it's all just loud colors. Um,
Absolute and, coming from a YouTube background, I can say this, like, YouTube is a big, problem of that because, yeah, it's, whatever you can pump out, algorithm based, like,
right,
none of that is good conducive to creating, thoughtful media, and that is why, like, so many people love Bluey because it is
right.
a standout against that, yeah, we did actually watch a lot of, Bluey, to prepare for this. If you hear something screaming, it's my cat screaming at me.
I understand.
Yeah, she entered at the sound of Bluey. But one thing that they do phenomenally well that we incorporated it into a lot of our episodes is where they where they give and where they leave catharsis,
Mm,
which is very interesting because, again, it's a limited time space. So in limitations, they've had some really creative ways of making really meaningful art with those limitations. And part of that is a lot of the episodes will leave right before the conclusion of the feeling that everything is gonna be okay, which is very, like, disorienting. That's why adults love it, start sobbing at the end of an episode and then the credits start rolling, but it's really beautiful because, then you, the audience member, have the feeling to
mm.
bring into your life, and you don't necessarily have that wonderfully tied up, wrapped up conclusion that gives you a feeling like, "Oh, great, I can go back to doing the dishes," and not think about it.
Right.
Yeah, some episodes are like that, but a lot of them aren't, and they don't give that to you, which I think is beautiful and very daring. And there's much adult media that would never be that brave to not leave you with a nicely wrapped up conclusion. So yeah, that was something very cool that we did try to emulate some of that because I think it's very emotionally honest. Life doesn't always get better.
Right.
The problems introduced in every episode are not resolved. Spoiler alert, but are mostly not resolved at all, but especially not in the episode in which
Right.
they happened. Yeah, so that was a very fun thing to play with, especially with the year previous to working on this, I've been writing features, which, are very much very much the opposite, but you're doing a lot of mental calculus of, like, okay, like, yeah, you wanna make people leaving the theater feel kinda good.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if not, very purposefully
Right.
so. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a whole obviously other can of worms, but like
Mhm.
there's there is the sort of yeah, oh man, that's really tough. I mean, I tried to write features for a very brief period of time and just got really discouraged by it because everyone's like, I think you should on your next rewrite. And it's like, I've already done 17 rewrites and no one's given me any money. So like leave me alone, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Um
Just
um
change your mind. Can't you just like it? Yeah.
yeah. What's the matter with it? Like, whatever. But it's that trying to appease people while still giving yourself room to, like, have a voice and have a so it's not all just watered down. And we've seen, especially with AI stuff recently, like, people can tell when something is just homogenized.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. They can tell when it's homogenized, people are so good even people that wouldn't think they are good at this, they are so good, like I mentioned before, like, even just, like, the rhythm of speaking, that
Right,
is musically something that is ingrained into us as a species, communication is, top of the top of the top, one of the most important things we have developed as a technology, is deeply ingrained into us. And yeah, the idea of storytelling is deeply ingrained into us as a species. So people are very good at it. They're very good at it. They're very good at picking up stories that have been told and how you are telling them.
right.
maybe not even necessarily in a new way, but, in the ways of which you are telling it, people are very perceptive of it, even if they don't think they'd be able to, eloquently speak to it. Yeah, it's very evocative. I mean, that's why, films are what they are and why they're so important, speak for us, for
Yeah.
you we're
Yeah,
meant,
I
for
would say.
society, there's a reason that we love it. We hold such, awe for it as an art form. Yeah, it's something that humans are uniquely bent to doing in all forms of art. But yeah, in storytelling, very rich, long, long tradition, of us using it as a way to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I'm sure you're running into this, like, having spent the last year writing features, but, like, the people who are, in a position to make things usually want the safest bet, whereas the people who want
Mhm,
to or I guess fund things want the safest bet.
mhm,
And the people who are making things or maybe the audience they wanna cultivate are looking to go outside of those things.
mhm.
And it's like, I don't know if you saw, 28 Years Later, uh
I've seen it this weekend, but I
okay,
haven't heard I've heard the basic yes,
okay.
so you
I
can
not to give anything away, I
mhm,
was very, like, not concerned, but, like, what
mhm,
it's like they are very the first movie was very influential, but we've
mhm.
had 20, almost 30 years of zombie movies, so, like, what are you
Yes,
gonna do? And
yeah.
I personally really enjoyed the that it really goes in a different direction,
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
but I've heard a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't like that the whole second half I didn't like," and it's like, that's the part that's good about it, and
Right.
I think it's that
Mhm,
again, it's that calculus like you mentioned, like, trying to figure out what
mm,
is nostalgic or what is familiar enough to get people to keep liking it or watch it enough, but different to kind of
mhm.
fulfill I don't know what, like, just put some other spin on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, or even to say what you want to say in the beginning. There's a lot of this now where, right, there's very much a pressure to take any old screenplay you have, dust it off, and, like, add an IP. It's like,
Yeah.
which is very, very, it's not inspiring, as a writer necessarily, but therein, yes, you also have the, like, "Okay, what did I need to what made me sit down in the first place to write that? Like, what was that need? And how can you still achieve that?" Yeah, while packaging it, yeah, in a way that is either, yeah, familiar or even provocatively familiar,
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of calculus. I feel like a lot of writers have just been building up a toolkit of, like, because it can be anything. Like, I guess for me, and I write this way naturally, I like some sexy characters and stuff.
What?
What?
In
What?
2025?
Oh my god, stop it.
Yeah,
But for me, that's another tool. It's like, people know what this is, so that's, you can use all of these to, maybe, internally, I guess I call it a Trojan horse. So a Trojan horse
sure.
your ideas. Yeah, and just decorating the outside with, some familiar accoutrements. Yeah.
Yeah. I've also been finding myself lately this is just turned into a therapy session, I hope you're okay with that, and we
I
can
mean, is that
reciprocate if
not
you
the
feel
show?
like
I feel like that is completely,
yeah.
in
Right?
the name of the
Yeah,
show, yeah.
yeah. Um, as a horror fan, I
Mhm,
kind of what I've grown to enjoy, over the last several years has fallen into 2 categories. One is the very safe old horror movies, like, Hammer movies from the '60s or something like that, or
mhm.
or even Hitchcock movies I find really, like, cozy in a weird way, which is or
Yes.
I'm
Mhm.
looking on lists of, like, the most disturbing movies ever made, and there is no in between because otherwise it's just so kind of like, "Ah, I've seen this." You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes,
not scary enough, but it's also not fun, so it's like, eh.
yes, yes, we're not
Um,
weird enough. Yeah, there was, it's it's not The Wicker Man, but I do put the original Wicker Man in this category of, like, so beautifully simple, it's almost infuriating, like, as a writer.
right? Yeah.
It is like, how did you fucking write this, this haiku of a film that is so just hits all the notes and it's beautiful infuriating in a wonderful, beautiful way. There were, yeah, there's one other recently that was like that really blew me away because of its simplicity. Which is wonderful, but, agreed also, on the other end of the spectrum, it's like, I wanna see 50 sharks under Paris. I want no sense. I want it to just be batshit crazy,
Yeah,
and I'll watch it or, a really good version of that, but I
sure.
can't just watch that movie, so that's on the brain.
I think they could have used one more shark, and then I would have liked it more.
I agreed. I also thought the last, like, 2 shark eating scenes were a little hat on a hat, like, got little
Yeah.
similar for my taste, but yeah, either scar me, or, like, feed me comfy soup,
Yeah, it's really bizarre because
Yeah.
and I think a lot of this is, kind of tying back to kids media too. There was a period of time when kids were allowed to be scared of stuff,
Mhm,
where they would kind of tailor, whether it be Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I still think is great,
mhm,
or like, there was Tales from the Crypt, but then there was the cartoon version, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, which is, whatever type of
mhm,
there was a version of spooky that kids could enjoy, and there was for such a long time kids were not, much younger than us, were not allowed to be scared of things, or were not or kept shielded from things. And there's
mhm.
obviously a positivity to like having to be scared of things that are not real. I think
Yes.
instead of like
Mhm.
I'm going to lose my house, like that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, it's such a beautiful conduit for those feelings. Yeah, I even think, like, the kid psychology has changed in that, like, now when a kid is scared of something under their bed, you don't comfort them by saying like, "There's nothing under your bed," because the fear is still there. Like, even intellectually, that might be, maybe comforting, but you'll close the door and they will still be scared and
Right.
not
Oh
anymore.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that turns into a thing that they are, stuck in adolescence and still scared of the thing. So yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. But yeah, I do feel like by the time we were kids, at least me, I was watching films that I'm sure many other kids in my school were not
Sure.
allowed to.
I was a s I forget if I've talked about this on the show before, but I was a scaredy cat for such a long time. I was scared of everything when I was a kid,
Mhm,
but was intrigued by spooky stuff,
mhm.
but it wasn't until I was in college, literally freshman year of college, that I was, like, starting to watch horror movies, because I
Yeah.
was always like, "I'm gonna be too scared," and then, like, very soon into that, I was like, nothing scared me anymore. Like,
Mhm, mhm,
it was so fast, and I'm
mhm,
not sure, like, and I was, like, looking for things to scare me, like,
mhm.
like, I remember going to see The Descent,
Yeah.
in whenever that came out, 2007 or whatever,
Mhm.
and being like, "Yes, finally, something scary," like, um, or, like, seeing High Tension in the theater and, which I just rewatched. I liked it way more recently. I don't know if you've watched High
That's
Tension
on my list.
recently.
No, I have not watched it. Okay,
There
adding it.
I'm always, like, troll I'm not sponsored by this, wish we were, but, there's a site called, Diabolic, DIABOLIK, com, which is all boutique kind of cult movie,
Mhm,
retailer, and so I'm
mhm.
always going on there like, "What do they got from other countries that I can
Yeah.
get?" And so there
Mhm.
this, Australian retailer just put out a box set of French extremity movies that from and they're doing multiple volumes, so I'm like, "I'm in," and all
Whoa.
of them have, like, commentaries by, like, Alexandra Heller Nicholas and other people who are, like, super good and knowledgeable about these things. So, anyway,
Mhm.
so I recently rewatched, High Tension and Frontiers and Martyrs, which are 3 of the most effed up movies of
Woo!
all
Yeah,
time.
holy shit.
Um, and I was sort of like, "Oh, yeah, these were, like, really transgressive," and then when I watch ones that aren't that transgressive, I'm like, "Eh,
Mhm,
I see what it's not just gore for the sake of it, it's also, like, kinda weird," and,
mhm.
I forget where I was going with this.
Yeah, well, I was
Um,
very similarly, we've been watching a lot of, Italian, anti-fascist films, and they really hit in a way that
yeah,
feels so modern,
yeah,
with a lot of modern ones, again, yeah, 'cause they're try to, be in a theater, like, may not necessarily, uh, rip your throat out, Well, some do. Not to yeah, there
Yeah.
have been great ones.
Spoilers, I guess? I don't know. I don't know
Right,
what
right.
movie you're talking about.
Oh, sorry. Wait, what? Sorry, I talked over what you just said.
Nothing, I was just being silly.
Yeah. How dare you?
I
How
know.
dare you? I'm talking about, anti-Italian, anti-fascism, so
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I was I was talking about French anti-fascism, so it's completely
Oh, okay.
different.
Well, very different. Oui.
Um, yeah, well, this is a whole different thing, but, like, we're movie dorks, so we can get into this, but,
Mhm,
like,
mhm,
I love Italian movies pretty much across the board. I like everything about them,
mhm,
but I find during their period, which they call the years of lead, which was like during the 70s. I find those movies made in that period so interesting, especially the politically motivated ones, because
mhm,
they had they were still coming off of fascism. Mussolini was only a few years before that, or a decade or so before that. So there was still a
mhm,
high contingent of fascism, but then there was also a high contingent of like far left extremism as well. And so they
mhm,
were constantly at odds with the police, which is why they really Italian films really took to like the Dirty Harry aspect of like it's one cop against the we see that as fascist, but they see that as they're literally
mhm.
the only people doing anything to stop
Yes.
these terrorist attacks that are constantly going on. So like
Mhm,
you can watch some of those cop movies and it's like, oh boy, he's a one-man army, and that's very fascist or Reaganistic or whatever. And it's like
mhm.
not for Italians, because like they were fighting fascism and they were fighting like
Yes.
bombing going on all the time.
Yes. Very context driven. I think that's what's so fascinating about, yeah, delving into foreign films is, yeah, getting all the, like, history, along with it. The history, the info, how'd this
Yeah.
get made? All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just feed it directly into my brain, Matrix style.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
What are some of the, anti-fascist movies you've been watching recently?
Oh, man. Okay, so this one is not, it is not Italian, unfortunately, but, The Exterminating Angel
Oh, that
is
movie's great.
it's, ah, ah, it is so good. Listeners, if you have not seen, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Uh,
Yeah, that's Louis Buñuel from '62, it looks like.
mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm blanking on man, there's one that I really want to remember the name of.
Have you seen, speaking of Italian ones, have you
Yeah.
seen, oh crap, now I can't remember what it was.
Ah!
Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion?
No, I
That
have
one that one I would recommend, it's great.
okay. I love a good
It's,
one.
just it's about a police officer who is into some
Mhm.
bad stuff and really wants to get caught, but can't because he's a police officer, and he just, like they keep not catching him, and he's just like, "Why are we all so bad at our job?" And it's
Oh my god.
because it's really fascinating. It's a really interesting movie.
Whoa.
And also it has a very long Italian name,
Mhm.
uh, as
Beautiful,
all best Italian movies do.
as they do.
Yeah. Um, but that I l both love and I wish every movie, like you said, or alluded to, like, came with a, "Here's when this movie was made, here's why it was made, here's stuff that was going on," like because
Mhm,
I didn't know for really long or didn't realize how late into, the 20th century, or I guess post World War II, um, the fascist kind of like mentality, uh, stuck around in Italy and Spain even longer, because Franco was in power way after World War II.
mhm,
Um, and how like both being like super Catholic countries that are under fascism, like
mhm,
how would they react to that? And like Italy did it by going extreme the other way and being like super, fashion forward and like sex positive and stuff like that.
mhm.
But Spain was still really repressed even well after Franco's regime and stuff like that's it might be boring to some people. I find that stuff really interesting.
No,
Seeing
it's
art based on, the reaction to bad
absolutely.
stuff.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you can even do that, like, to the most modern the new Superman, like,
Oh,
oh,
100%. Yeah.
Superman is an ember yes, what are the circumstances with which this art is in discussion with? And if
Yeah.
it's denying it's in discussion, that's also very interesting.
I can't remember last time you were on, we talked about full core last time, but we
Mhm.
I think we talked a little bit about Alex Garland the last time you were on, I think
Yes,
maybe.
uh-huh. Mhm.
and how infuriating it is that he thought that that movie was it was apolitical, the Civil War. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
I
or wasn't an anti-war movie or wasn't a pro-war movie, and it's like, that's nothing. You're not making anything.
right, right. It also, is very it is weird for him to think that because, like, it's not and no audience member is going to agree with. I don't think no
No.
one's gonna watch that and feel the same way. Yeah.
And also, art is inherently political. I mean, look,
Right,
I
right.
forget who said that, but somebody real smart said that a long time
Someone
ago.
real smart said it, and it is very true, and
Yeah,
that is also, the privilege of thinking that something is not political or that you are apolitical.
yeah,
That is simply a privilege and an illusion, yeah, that you have been afforded, yeah, yeah, which is fine,
yeah,
just doesn't make
yeah,
it doesn't make it apolitical, it makes you think that you
yeah.
are,
Whether
which
you
is
want to
fine.
read into it, that whatever, do whatever you want to do. But like, I don't. There's always an agenda at work, and I think that like
Mhm, mhm.
expecting your art to not have an agenda is naive, I think, because like even stuff we grew up with, you'd be like, you know, I love it when people say stuff like Star Trek, oh, stop making Star Trek political. It's like, what are you goddamn talking about? Like, it's from the beginning. It's and uh,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff really drives me insane because not that we need to be bombarded with it. I hate being hit over the head with it, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it is simply there. Well, whatever you put there is inherently an absence.
Yeah.
And so that inherently is decisions that you are making and creating. Um, yeah. I mean, I think the reason people have a lot of people do have a problem with it, or especially other artists, is because they're artists and they know that it's 1,000 decisions a minute when you're creating. And are you saying they didn't make those like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, well, what are we saying here? Did the painter not paint the painting?
Yeah. Yeah. Or yeah. Or wanting it to be like, "Hey, can you make it, just slightly less good or less interesting or whatever?" Like,
Yeah, really,
uh,
like, this human, yeah,
yeah.
more robotic, less removed.
Let's get back to weird stuff we've been watching.
Mhm.
Uh, there was a so have you ever seen the movie Man Bites Dog? It's a
Yeah,
Belgian movie. Okay. I recently
yes.
rewatched that one, not for a long time. I hadn't seen it.
Mhm.
It's excellent. I really love it. It's very fresh and disturbing. And those of you who don't know, it's literally a mockumentary about following a serial killer around.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like it's funny and also really dark and really upsetting. And so I
Yeah.
was like, what are other movies like that? And I found on a list this movie called Baxter, which
Oh,
literally never heard of.
yeah.
But it's about uh, a white bull terrier named Baxter
Uh-huh.
who ends up living with a series of different families, or well, an old lady at first, and then a family, and then whatever. And
Mhm.
it's told from the dog's point of view, and he hates people, and is just like, and eventually like
Mhm.
ends, and it's a French movie, ends up with a
Yeah.
kid who uh loves or idolizes Adolf Hitler. And then the dog goes, that's what I should be doing. And so
Wow.
it's this crazy story from this dog's point of view of like, I hate people, I
Mhm.
want to eat them. Like, it's just like, it's so
Mhm.
weird. And I watched it and I went,
Yeah.
it didn't quite live up to the weirdness, which
Well,
is a real bummer
yes,
because
yes.
I could
Buried
have,
a promise of some fucked up shenanigans.
yeah, it's like, I
Mhm.
think this dog could have been slightly more Nazi-ish, but it wasn't
Mhm.
for some reason. But anyway,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
that's where I'm at. I'm just like, what is the weirdest and most effed up movie I've never heard of, probably from a foreign country?
Mhm.
Um, uh, there was also, I would not recommend people watch this one unless they're really into like messed up gore, but The Men Behind the Sun. Have you ever heard of that one?
Oh, I've heard of it, I have not seen, no.
So it's this gets into a whole other thing, but it's a Chinese propaganda film about how bad the Japanese were to them during World War II, which is accurate and true. That did happen. but China's so kind of, still very, they censor stuff. They don't want people to see, anything kind of, grown
Mhm.
up or especially horrific. But if it's about how bad the Japanese are, then
They
they will
allow it.
allow it. So this
Wow.
is one of the goriest movies I've ever seen, and it's done very kind of like flat and matter of factly.
Yeah.
It's not a mockumentary or a documentary style, but it's kind
Mhm.
of showing you things as though they were real, but like these awful experiments that were done on people. And I'm sitting there watching it going like, why am I watching this again? Uh
To
um
feel something. To
yeah.
feel
And I
something.
think that's it. I think that's where I'm at. I just want to feel something,
Yeah, even if it's bad.
even if it's
Oh,
bad.
yeah. Mhm. It does a little something.
Yeah.
Uh,
So anyway, those are the messed up movies that I've been watching recently.
Beautiful.
Which we didn't start out talking about, but I thought you'd be interested. I don't know. I don't know.
They linger in the psyche. The
Yeah.
good ones linger in the psyche. This is almost not even in the same vein, but it is one I, return to a lot, especially with just its gender politics. It has been very influential to me, Titane.
Oh, yeah.
Titane, yeah, just I do think about it a lot, and again, writing things that are, like, sexy, and yeah, the gender of it all is just something that, yeah, has wormed its way, into the back of my brain that about once a week, I'm like, "Yeah, to then."
I never watched Raw. That was her as well, wasn't it?
Oh, Raw is very good, very
Okay, I need to watch that one.
it's very good, yeah, what
Julia
I
de
would put that in the category of one that is so wonderfully simple, it's, like, beautifully infuriating,
Yeah.
just wonderful ugh, yeah.
Yeah, I liked Titan a lot. Was very surprised. And that's one of those movies where I got a screener for it because I think that came out during
Mhm.
the lockdown, didn't it? Something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Um, and I was watching that just being like, oh, nobody can see my face, but I was just like, how did somebody pay for this movie to get made? Because it's so kind of transgressive and weird.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes, in many different aspects.
yeah,
Different yeah, I think that's also what, just really shakes it all up for me, yeah, got a lot going on in a beautiful, fucked up way.
yeah. Um, I want to talk to you about because like in a lot of movies, and maybe it's sort of changing, maybe it is, but it seems like movies have kind of been pushing away from, unless they are kind of outwardly subversive, they're kind of pushing away from sex and kind of titillation, I suppose. It
Mhm.
seems that way, but TV is definitely go continuing in that vein and everything like that. Why is that? I mean, other than just it's rad and you should put it in a movie, but like um in your writing, have
Mhm.
you found that still to be true? Like of people kind of being like, "Oh, you got to take out the sex scene" or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think what honestly, what I think what it is, we had many years of Hollywood, where terrible people could just do terrible things behind
Y-
the scenes,
Yeah,
and I don't even think it is, conscious, but I think there, is um, there's a mixing of the wires of I'm a woman, so I'm writing sex scenes that I like,
sure.
queer woman, so I am writing things that, move me and think are awesome, and I wanna see on the big screen, but yeah, I think there is just this, like, conservative, reaction to Me Too, to times changing, to, women getting more political, voices, and instead of listening to them, they just go, "Oh, okay, well, so then nothing." I I mean, how many times have you seen a man on the internet be like, "Oh, so, like, I can't date now?" It's like that, like, attitude, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so, like, none of it then. Oh, okay, so, like, this generation is just prudes." It's like, no, there has been a history of, even in, like, within films, and I'm pretty much like anything's a go as long as it's, for a reason or
sure.
thoughtful, and that hasn't always been the case, and it definitely has not always been, representative of, many people's sexualities or even experiences of sex. It has been a very singular vision for a very long time. And not to say that, and not there are many sex scenes that I love that we already have. But yeah, I do think it's just the conservative reaction of, okay, well then I'm taking away all the toys. We're not
Yeah.
having toys now. If you women are gonna complain, And again, it's not even like a conscious thing. It is just like a and again, people who are handing out the money, they want a safe bet. And again, a lot of those people are still, older. Many are men, and so if a sex scene does not titillate them, then why, quote unquote, take that risk? Which is very funny because for me, anyone our age and younger, or I think for most people, sex is good. And can be a draw into the story. Yeah, so again, it is very much just like trying to flatten everything to make an easy decision.
Yeah.
Um
And I wonder
with
if that's like because they want everything to be PG-13, if that's part of it too, is like they being the
Right,
studio people, but
right, totally.
yeah.
And also now there's so many more expressions of what love and sex and relationships can be and do look like in the real world.
Right.
And there's even like a reticence to represent that. So yeah, it's always like a reaction and reaction. So the less there is, the more people will want it.
Right.
And yeah, vice versa. So I think it's
I
always, yeah.
2 thoughts, 2
Mhm.
separate thoughts.
Mhm.
First, I was I'm not calling out anybody, I'm not naming and shaming. But I
Mhm.
recently was listening to a podcast, a comedy podcast that has been on for a very, very long time.
Mhm.
And the hosts of that show, who
Mhm.
are outwardly very liberal people, talk
Mhm.
about they're very, pro women, all this stuff, were
Mhm.
basically saying that they don't think sex scenes should be in movies anymore at all. And I was like, what? Like, that is not humanity, first of all. So but they are older than we are. They are
Right,
Gen
right.
X, maybe even like late
Mhm.
boom. And I'm sort of
Mhm.
like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Maybe for somebody to kind of just be like, I feel weird watching that stuff. That just seems
Mhm.
like an old timey thing. The other thing is, the new Superman movie is coming out this week. I have
Mhm.
already seen it, and one of my favorite things about it is that it's an actual romantic movie about superheroes,
What? You
which
don't
has seemed
say.
which
You
has
don't
seemed
say.
so like anathema to I will shout Marvel. They just refuse to put romance in stuff. And it's like, it goes like, Wanda and Vision went straight from we just met and think each other are kind of attractive to married. And it's like, where
Yes.
was the fun part? Where was the kind of interesting part of them getting to know each other?
Right.
Um, and
Mhm.
so much of Superman is, as you see a little bit in the trailers, but it's like,
Mhm.
is Clark and Lois just being in a relationship and what does that mean and everything like I was like
Mhm.
why is this so revolutionary, this very old thing. So I don't really I have no kind of like point to make on about either of these things, but it's just sort of like
Mhm.
w-
I think it's very interesting, especially the Marvel of it all. It is that thing of like, well, like people know how people like get together, so like they're gonna get bored, so let's just skip, like skip to they like no, but it's like that's not what
yeah,
people like about it. That's not how people fall in love. That's not it will not evoke the human feelings um
yeah,
inside of us if we just throw our hands up and say, well, it's like his storytelling, it's in the story, these two mythical figures get together, so
yeah.
like who cares to see that? Well,
And it
humans
is a weird
do.
like one of the other favorite thing about it is that they have a lot of conversations in it, Lois and Superman, and not one of those conversations is about children or having children. And it's just like because
Wow.
that's also been something that like everything is very chaste or it's about procreation. Because even Fantastic Four,
Mhm,
in fairness, they were always, a couple, they were always married and stuff like that,
mhm.
and do have children in the comics. But it's
Yeah.
like that's a big part of the push is like it's a married couple and they're having a child. And it's like, okay. Why
Mhm.
have we gotten to that point where even our fake stuff, like, you can't even, like, live vicariously through superheroes anymore?
No. No.
I don't know.
Yeah, I will always remember the, Black Widow,
Oh, Hulk
I
stuff? Ugh, that was
yeah,
so
I know we
bad.
forgot as a culture, we forgot it and good,
Yeah,
because that was traumati I'm sure that was traumatizing for many people watching and being like, "What
yeah,
the fuck?"
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but isn't that how you write women characters?
Right? That's,
What did they want after
and
30
isn't it tragic that she can't? And it's, oh, so
Yeah.
bad. Ugh, that drove me, and that was a decade ago or more. Like, when did
Yeah.
that movie come out? Yeah,
Yeah,
forever ago.
forever
Mm,
ago.
it's
Yeah.
so bad.
Mhm.
It's a really, yeah, it's a weird time for movies and stuff like that, and I feel like I do feel like, well, I don't know that many Gen Z people, but from what it seems like, it seems like they're headed in the right direction, at least. It seems, I don't know, man.
Oh,
Maybe not, I don't
Mhm.
know.
Like I said, people have always been very good at watching stories,
Sure.
about thinking about them, applying to them, relating to them. We're just naturally, as animals, very, very good at it.
Mhm.
And that will never go away. How we choose to deal with it,
Right.
it changes all of the time. But yeah, that inherent fact about us is very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Cave paintings and stuff. Well, it's
Mhm.
old. It's
Yeah.
inherent. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Before I let you go, Maggie, thank you again for being on the show. I did want to ask you about what is the name of that show? I literally just watched it a few months ago for the first time ever. I'm way behind on this because it was an internet phenomenon. What the hell is it called? Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Oh, yes.
Ha-
Mhm.
uh
Mhm.
that obviously was kind of like a weird internet phenomenon, and that then got its own show.
Mhm.
Similar vein, although I feel, uh, your show is much more like dealing with reality in a certain way, whereas that show is
Yeah.
definitely not dealing with reality. But,
Yes,
did
yes.
was that another one of those shows that you watched, or at least had some familiarity with?
Yeah, passing familiarity with I actually also need to get caught up, but yeah, I mean, again, yes, I think the genre itself, there are so many beautiful avenues, and I would not change a single thing about that show. The place it brings you to is so incredibly disturbing and wonderful. And yeah, we definitely there are parts of that, but I will say, yeah, for our show, it's more using the genre to process,
Yeah,
yeah, using a
legitimate
fictional
traumas.
space, yeah, using
Yeah,
a fictional space to process, real or uh, life life ruining events and emotions. Yeah, but I mean, they're, phenomenal. We did a pretty, in-depth, deck when we were pitching it, and yeah, absolutely, there were beautiful stills,
oh,
so thank you
100%.
so
Yeah.
much from the team.
He banged it out in an afternoon one time. Those of you who've not watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, you can watch all
Mhm,
the
mhm,
whatever, but doesn't matter.
mhm.
Maggie, thank you so much for being on the show. This was a very roundabout and weird conversation, but I really liked it. So thank you for
Oh,
bringing on.
yes, you mentioned, we had to did end up talking a lot about our feelings
Yeah.
and, hey.
Yeah. We're recording this on July 9th, and
Mhm.
bullshit has been going on for the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
And so there's a lot to process, you know?
lots to process. Hug your friends.
Yeah.
Spend time with them if you can, text your family, if you're speaking to them, and kudos if you're not. Um,
Yeah.
Now more than ever. Good God.
Yeah. And yeah. Um, why don't you plug your show for everyone and where they can watch it and how often and all that stuff?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that setup. Yeah, you can find it on Nebula. I'll pass you a link that you guys can click on to see the show. Yeah, it comes out on the 13th. Not a Friday. but still 13th. And
You can still be afraid of it, I guess, if that's your thing.
afraid of it can still be bad. Amy, the first episode is Amy loses both of her jobs that she was doing simultaneously to make double the money in half the time. I won't say on this podcast whether that was inspired by true events. It was. No, yeah, if anyone dealing with that, or even this industry is not it's not a very, not a very secure and not a very consistent meal. So yeah, it feels unfortunately very relatable. And that's the first episode that drops on the 13th. Yeah, very excited. Amy's very excited to welcome you all into her home. Yeah, and meet her little fucked up world.
Well, I'm very excited to watch. And new episodes come out every other week.
Mhm.
And yeah, Amy's Dead End Dreamhouse. Almost said Dead End Drive-In, which is a different thing entirely. It's Amy's Dead End Dreamhouse.
One day we'll do a live show.
Yeah, that'll be
That'll be the
fun.
drive-in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. And how can people find you? Or you're on the socials or your other stuff? Where can people find that?
Yeah, I'm on most things. I just my name, Maggie Mae Fish, Mae.
Yeah.
Like my dead great great grandmother, not the month. That's
Yep.
yeah. Oh, we will have a video essay coming out very soon that I'm very excited about. Deal with law enforcement. So if that sparks
Great.
any
A lot of the
feelings in
stuff we've been
you,
talking about
yeah, it's
today.
probably for you. That and true crime also actually. So
Incredible.
yeah. Yeah.
And I would recommend everybody go back and listen to or watch. You can watch them as well. All
Mhm.
the episodes of Lynchpins, your David Lynch podcast,
Ooh,
which you were on our show before to promote.
mhm.
But really, really interesting conversations. I really liked all that, and I like the way you processed it, which you talked about on our show, which is you started with the most normal and went to the least normal, which I think is the way to do it. I think that's a good
Yeah.
easing way into David Lynch's work. Yeah, you can follow me on Letterbox, which is basically the only thing I'm on anymore that I actually post on, which
Good
is
for you.
thank you.
Oh my god.
I still lurk on Instagram, but that's about it.
You've grown up. This is
Thank you.
beautiful. Wow.
I just got tired, really, is what it was.
Yeah.
But you know what I've done? I've started going on Reddit more. I shouldn't do that.
That's kind of fun though. I do.
I do like going on Reddit.
I'm
Yeah.
a Reddit yeah, yeah, especially if
Yeah.
I have a question, you guys are answering it.
Yeah.
No one
I don't want
else.
to know. I mean, I don't want to find it out myself. I want to just tell me. But you can find, yeah, on Letterboxd, Kyle_Anderson. You can also watch a recent video essay about why Andor ruined Star Wars by being too good, which I wrote and hosted. So please go find that on Nerdist's YouTube.
So
Thank you again, Maggie. Thank you
mhm.
for being on the show, as
Oh,
always.
you. What
I
a
look
del
forward to having you join the Four Timers Club.
Ah!
In
Oh, I want a little, horse
I'll
competition.
find a plaque. I'll do some
Ribbon?
sort of
Great.
Here, you can
Great.
have this Superman toy,
Oh
I
my
guess.
god, don't give me your prized possessions. Put him back.
I was gonna say he's right here, and he's my favorite. So no. Yeah, thank you for listening. I've been Kyle Anderson. Join me again next time on Laser Focus when my guest will be a different person. Bye-bye. Laser Focus is a production of Nerdist Industries and Legendary Digital Networks. It was produced, edited, and hosted by me, Kyle Anderson. For more, visit Nerdist.com.